Forming meaningful and mutually beneficial partnerships between rugby organisations and businesses is imperative to allowing the sport to grow globally. System Accountants in the United Kingdom is one such business providing assistance by supporting worthwhile rugby initiatives. And the Rugby Business Network has the pleasure of speaking to Managing Director Steve Leebrook. Steve, thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Well, Steve, System Accountants is quite a unique company. As part of what you do is bridging the gap between finance and IT. Tell us when the company was formed and what services does it provide?
So we were founded back in 1997, so we're just coming up to our 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
We're a very niche organisation. In essence, we support CFOs and C-suite executives in global organisations who are undertaking finance systems and ERP-enabled transformation programs. So we provide staffing and resourcing services across all of those disciplines.
If I'm not mistaken, you're also a specialist recruitment and resourcing solutions company, and you must have a lot of different types of people with varying qualifications coming to your company and asking for assistance with job placement. How often do you have former rugby players seeking assistance, and what skills do they possess which makes them prime candidates to work in the business environment?
Yeah, so we've been quite close to the wider rugby community and the rugby network. So we've actually previously employed and hired ex-rugby players and rugby coaches to be recruiters and work for us internally. We also work with clients who are former players or have that strong network and association with the wider rugby community. I think for us, the brand of rugby, and this is from where I am now in terms of schoolboys right up to senior level, it really chimes with the code of rugby, the teamwork, the respect, the discipline. We like to have a network of people that we trust and we know, and our business is very much based on referrals and networking. And the rugby community is really an intrinsic part of that for those reasons.
Well, what you've mentioned touches on my next question. From what you've noticed at System Accountants, how do the values of rugby transition across into business, Steve?
Yeah, and I think they do very much. I think, as I mentioned, it's the ethics and the code of rugby very much. I think it's people able to forge long-term relationships, people who see the value in those relationships, and they can often be symbiotic. It's not necessarily a commoditized transaction. It's about working off each other's skills and experience and networks and each other's relationships for the wider good, personally and professionally, I've found.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, could you describe your personal journey to building a successful business, and what sort of challenges have you met along the way?
Yeah, there's certainly challenges. So over the 20 years we've been going, we've enjoyed year-on-year growth. We were born in the UK, and the UK is still where our business is based. There's a lot of goodwill and heritage around our brand. A couple of years ago, we decided to expand the business internationally, so that meant taking offices and our business offering into North America and into continental Europe. On that is challenges around going into new markets, into new territories. It's about expanding our client and our candidate communities and our networks, and trying to help clients do more on a global basis by offering our services on an international platform. So, for us, we're a people business. It's all about those relationships as we grow and hire staff that we trust can build our brand and build our business. And as we engage with our candidate community that we're very precious about, our candidates turn into clients, and it's keeping that goodwill with those guys as we grow as well.
Well, besides business, you have other passions and interests, obviously, as any person would, one of which is rugby. Did you ever play, and which team do you support?
No, so I've had a bit of an unconventional route into rugby. So I started my sporting life out as a soccer coach or football coach, and did all my coaching badges. I coached my son's team until he was 4 or 5 years old, and I can't remember who it was, but someone put a rugby ball in his hand one day, and since that day, he hasn't looked back. So I've had to literally switch codes in sports and become a rugby coach now. My son's in the under-13s team. So we play for Market Harbour Rugby Club in Leicestershire, which is one of the oldest and biggest clubs in the region, and a feeder club to the Leicester Tigers from an academy point of view. For me, I've seen the transformation even with my son in terms of the people, the friends, the relationships that he's grown just by being a rugby player at a junior level, and likewise for me being associated with the club from a coaching point of view in a big club like ours. It really is an extended family now. So we've made lots of friends and lots of new business relationships out of that piece. So whoever it was that put the rugby ball in his hand all those years ago, I'm quite thankful to them.
Well, speaking about forming relationships and connections, I'm sure while having watched games at Leicester, you'll obviously have come into contact with other rugby-loving supporters. What have you noticed about the types of people gathered there?
Yeah, so I think there's two ways of answering that. I think, firstly, from a club point of view, we all turn up on a Sunday morning, watch the kids play for a couple of hours. You don't often get into a deep and meaningful discussion with the parents and people supporting. But those that we have, we've realised very quickly that there's some really strong business minds and business people who are associated with the club and within that parent community as well. People working for big global brands in senior positions, and they're doing everything they can to support the game at grassroots level, but also to help our club and this sort of wider community for rugby. And even at Leicester Tigers, we're avid fans and season ticket holders, and I think even there's that camaraderie and that network you have of people going along all the time, and it's about sort of bonding those relationships, again on a personal but also professional basis.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, we are proud to say that System Accountants is a new commercial partner of the Rugby Business Network. How did you go about forming this relationship, and why did you specifically decide to partner with this rugby organisation?
Yeah, so we were introduced through a recommendation and referral. So again, a good example of how this should and could work. It was a client and a friend of someone in the business who strongly recommended the Rugby Business Network. I met with you guys, and it was very quickly apparent that your style and your approach and what you're trying to achieve really chimed with our brand and what we're trying to do. As I mentioned earlier, we're all about relationships and the network, and it was a slightly unconventional route into marketing and sponsorship for us, but almost immediately we've seen the benefits in terms of activities and introductions across that client community. And for us, it gives us something in common. There's lots of people out there that we'd like to speak to and want to speak to, and I think not being part of the rugby network is probably there's some more obstacles in the way. So it breaks down those barriers and gives us something in common that we can all discuss, in terms of how we can support the rugby network as that grows, but how we can support each other as we want to develop our own careers and our businesses.
Well, it's worth mentioning that System Accountants is also getting involved with the Life After Rugby Program. In what ways will your company be assisting, and why do you feel it is important for programs like this to exist for retiring rugby players?
So, rugby is one of those sports. I saw when I was in America with the American footballers. It's great when you're at the top and you're performing professionally. But I think it's no great secret that it has a finite lifetime, and I think that it's enabling players as they grow through rugby and beyond rugby to have opportunity, and they don't always have the skills, the experience, the disciplines to break from a very intensive sporting environment, professional elite sporting environment, into the commercial world. And I think there are lots of transferable skills that they have, and if we can wrap around that some extra skills and extra techniques and tools, then it helps that transition a lot quicker and breaks down those barriers for those guys. So I think the wider rugby community has a lot to offer the business world. So if we can act as a conduit in doing that, then it's good for everyone.
That's absolutely fantastic. Finally, Steve, with System Accountants making a difference in the rugby community, Why would you urge other businesses to get involved with rugby teams or organisations and initiatives that exist all over the world?
So, rugby is a global brand, isn't it? And I think that the game is probably as popular as ever right now. And that's testament to what all the global rugby bodies are doing. It's a testament to the players, the commitment and the investment in the sport. And it's just a superb time now to be associated with the brand of rugby globally. And I think that the more people get involved with rugby on a personal level, that's going to expand people's interest from a business and community point of view as well. So, huge opportunity as the world global rugby brand continues to grow. For all types of organisations of all different sizes and all geographies to support what we're doing and not just support it but receive direct benefit from doing that as well.
Well, Steve, it's clearly evident that System Accountants is truly a one-of-a-kind company, not just by the incredible services and support you offer, but by also choosing to give back to rugby in a meaningful and sustainable way. And we at the Rugby Business Network are excited to have you as a commercial partner, and may it be a long and productive relationship.
Yeah, we're really happy to be here. We look forward to working with you guys and everyone else in the bigger community going forward. So thanks again for your time.